Ladies and gentlemen, dear students in the 12th grade, good afternoon. Welcome to our seminar for today, in which we are going to talk about the exam. At the beginning of our seminar for today, let me welcome my colleagues in the studio, Miss Umayma Sharba, an English supervisor from Tartus. Good afternoon, Miss Umayma. And Mr. Abdel Majid Oghorli, the coordinator of English at the National Center of Curricular Development. Well, dear
Good
Abdel
afternoon.
Majid, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As you know, dear colleagues, dear students, this is our last seminar for this year. We hope, in the name of my colleagues, we wish you the best, let's say, the best luck. We wish you good luck in the exam. We hope that in this seminar for today, we can highlight some important points on the exam, some pieces of advice about the exam, some instructions, and how to deal with each question in the exam. And of course, I'd like to remind you that we can receive your calls by using the numbers shown at the bottom of the screen. So please do not hesitate. We are ready to answer your questions during this seminar. Dear colleagues, Ms. Umayma, I start with you. As you know, the text, first of all, we can tell our dear students that there is no change at all about the rubrics or about the English exam for this year. When we talk about the 12th grade, of course, in both, let's say, sections, the scientific and the literary ones. So there is no change at all in the exam. But we can, let's say, give them some pieces of advice, as I said, about how to deal with each question. So let's talk about the first text. As you know, the first text, the size of the text or of each text is between 150 words to 200 words, no more than 200 words. Of course, there are three tasks. We ask the students to read the text very carefully, then to do the tasks below. The first task contains three questions, direct questions, of course. I'd like to ask you about the first task, Ms. Umayma.
Yes.
When the student wants to write the question, or wants to write, the answer, how can he, let's say, find the answer? How can he write the answer? Is it necessary to write, let's say, a complete sentence? What can he do in this question, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bassel. Dealing with the first question, the first text itself, the student read it. It's from the book. There is no change. It's from the book, from the text in the book. And he should read slowly because all the questions are related to the information inside the text itself.
Good. You mean the questions ask about specific information found between the lines or in the text itself?
Yes, in the text itself.
So there is no conclusion?
No.
Okay.
Yes. So there are three questions. First of all, he reads the text carefully. Then he reads the task that he is supposed to do. The task, they answer the questions. The questions are comprehension questions. Three questions, which are allotted 18 marks.
Yes.
And these questions are related to the text itself. The information of these, he should write. The students read each question carefully, slowly, and find out the answers inside the text in front of him. Okay?
Good.
This is for the first step, to read and answer. Read the questions and give
So before
answers.
answering, your advice to the students, this is what I can understand,
Yes.
that before answering any question, the student here has to read very carefully the text itself before reading any question. Then the second step, he can read the questions. After reading the questions, he has to read the text again to find the information, for example, of the question number 1, question number 2, and so on.
And
now,
so on.
when he writes the answer,
answer.
is it necessary to write a complete answer, I mean a sentence, or what?
I advise each student, I advise the student to write a complete answer. I advise him. Because the answer is already in front of him. He can find it in the text itself.
Yes.
So why does he write something else, or why does he summarize, or just give a word. Write a complete answer. Don't give additional information. I
Okay.
advise him to write a
Okay.
meaningful sentence, meaningful answer, which is inside the text itself.
Okay, I'd like to add something here, Miss
Yes.
Umayma, if you don't mind. The student here, because they are comprehension questions, and the questions ask about specific information, sometimes some students are strong enough, which enables them to write or to use their own style when answering the questions. Sometimes they use their own words. So it's okay.
Yes.
We can tell them it's okay. If your answer is logical, it will be accepted. If the information is correct, your answer is accepted. So don't worry about this. But you have to focus on your writing. I mean, the spelling mistakes, your sentence should be correct.
Yes, and grammar mistakes.
Yes, yes. So he has to be careful when writing the answer correctly. That's it. But if the information is correct, of course, he will get the full mark for
Yes, the full
this
mark.
question.
Yes.
This is the
first task, yes,
Okay.
which is about 3 questions.
Now,
Then we have
what about the second task?
The second one, the student should find the meaning of some words. Find words in the text which mean the following. We have two explanation for two vocabularies.
Two
here.
definitions or
two
two
definitions,
explanations, okay.
yes. And the words are inside the text itself.
Of course, the scientific section, the students of the scientific section are given two definitions.
Yes.
But the literary section, the students in the literary section are given 3 definitions.
Well,
right? So there is one extra item.
yes.
Okay.
According to the definitions.
The same task. The same
yes,
task.
the same thing.
Okay.
To give the definition of each, we have the definition, and the student should write the word. What does this definition refer to?
Yes.
So he has to search into or inside the text itself
yes,
to find
out or
to search to find
yes,
the meaning or
Good,
the vocabulary which correspond the definition itself.
Good. Let's say there is a definition, and the student here has to know exactly whether he has to look for a noun or an adjective
Yes.
or a verb. How can a student know that?
According to the definition itself.
Exactly.
So,
If it starts with to, for example,
yes,
to find, to do, to
do, so it's a
he
verb.
has to look for a verb.
Yes.
If the definition starts with the, for example, the so and so, he has to look for a
For the
noun.
noun. So
If the definition starts with an ing form, he can look for a gerund or
Yes.
something like this,
Yes.
or an adjective.
an adjective or
Right?
an adverb.
Yes, so I don't think this task is difficult at all. When the student prepares well at home and reads this text very carefully, the text in his 2 books, very carefully, understands each word very well, I'm sure he won't find any problem
That's
when
right.
answering this question.
Because the questions are clear. They are
But what
clear.
if now? You know that there are some strong students, they have a good experience, really. And when we ask them, they give us words which are not found in the text, but at the same time, they give the meaning. They have to look, in my opinion, they have to look at the rubric itself, read the question very carefully. The question says, find words in the text.
yes,
In the
not
text.
from outside.
So you have to look for a word in the text, not to give a word from outside the text. You have to
This
look
is an
for it in the
important
text
advice.
itself. Yes.
Yes, very-
Sometimes the word is correct, but it is not found in the text.
It's
so
not
you will get
acceptable.
0. So you have to find it in the text.
Yes. In
Okay,
the text
this is the
itself.
question. What about the last task now?
The last task, the student should rewrite some sentences, 2 sentences about the text itself to correct the information.
Good.
So here he has 2 sentences, 6 and 7. Here he has, the student should read the sentence carefully because there is incorrect information.
Good.
And he should, which is related to the text itself. We are still in text number 1 in the first paper. Well, he has information which is incorrect, he has to correct. And I advise the student to write a complete, meaningful correction.
Good.
Complete sentence. Okay?
So,
A
you mean
sentence.
there are no spelling mistakes?
Yes.
There
No.
are no grammar mistakes.
grammar mistakes.
The mistake is in the meaning,
The
in
meaning.
the information. The information is not correct about the text. So he has to look for it in the text and to correct the information and to rewrite the whole sentence.
Yes. Rewrite the whole sentence. And
Not one word.
Yes,
Because
it's
some
clear.
students give you only the correction, one word. They write only one word. Those students who write only one word will get 0.
Yes.
There is no correction here. You have to correct
Everything.
the
They
whole
had
sentence, and you have to understand, I mean, the rubric of the question, Ms. Umayma. The rubric says rewrite. So you have to write the sentence again. Correctly. This is the meaning of the rubric, of the question itself.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
What about negative forms? Sometimes some students try to correct the sentence by giving, let's say, a negative form. What about this?
The
It
negative,
depends on the case itself, but in general,
in general, if it is correct, so we accept
it will be accepted.
It will be
But
accepted.
in general, we
In general,
advise them not to
not
use
to.
the negative forms.
Yes.
Not to use the negative forms. They have to find something found. It is the information found in the text. They can maybe replace a word, find a new or a correct word, and use it in the sentence, rewrite it, so the sentence will be correct.
Yes.
So there is no need to use the negative form. You can correct it in a different way.
Yes.
This is my advice.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
agree.
everything about the first step.
Yes, this is about the first one, the first step,
Good.
the first text.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Abdul Majid, good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
Well, I'd like to ask you about the second text. Again, we talked about the size of the second
Yes,
text. It is between 150 words,
150 to 200
but
words.
no more. Yes.
No more, yeah, of course.
Of course, the second text will be from the supplementary book.
Yes.
Of course, it is from
According
the
if
supplementary
it
book.
is scientific section
Or
from the
literary.
scientific, yes, or the literary, yeah.
Yes. What about it, please?
Again here, as my colleague, Ms. Umayma said, the student needs to read carefully to understand first reading for general gist,
Yes.
general meaning, to find out if he understands everything or not. Then he moves to the tasks. First task is multiple choice question. This question is from the text again, not from outside the text.
Yes.
He needs to understand the text and chooses the choice which is related to the text itself.
Yes.
This is the first task. Second task, like in the first text, we have words to find the meaning. But in the first text, it is not underlined. Here we have 3 underlined words and 2 definitions. The student is going to choose 2 of the underlined words, of the 3 underlined words, and matches them with the definitions in the second task.
Yes.
Then we come to completion. The student needs to complete, we have half a sentence, and he needs to complete the sentence from the text again. So all the questions are from the text itself, not from outside the text. First, multiple choice, A, B, C he is going to choose. Second, match 2 of the underlined words, we have 3
Yes.
with the definitions. And third, complete the sentence according to the text.
Yes. I'd like to add something here related to the last task, Mr. Abdul Majid. Some students copy and paste the completion. They have to know that sometimes there must be some adaptation. I mean, they have to pay attention to the grammatical structure
Yes.
of the sentence. I mean, the first clause and how to complete the information correctly. So they have to go back, of course, to the text to find the correct information in order to complete this sentence, but they have to pay attention to grammatical structure. I mean, not to copy-paste.
Yeah.
Because the question here is based on comprehension, not to learn by heart or to copy and paste some questions.
Yes. This is if you want the student to get the full mark, but to comfort them, whatever he writes, whatever the student writes, if it is correct, and it is not very much correct, maybe he copied and pasted as you said, and the structure is not very correct, In this case, some marks are going to be deducted,
some
so he's not
omitted,
going.
yes.
Your advice is very good if the student wants to get full mark.
Full mark.
But he is not going to lose everything. It's not going to be zero if it's logical.
Of course.
So he may lose some points,
Yes.
but in the end it will be corrected. But
Yes.
good advice
Thank
to
you.
be careful
Thank you.
for the adaptation.
Well, I'd like to ask you about the third question. As you know, dear colleagues, the third question is related to missing words.
Missing words.
Here, this question is not specified to memorize words,
Yes, of course.
but to know some functional words as you read the text. A text, for example, or a paragraph, a short paragraph. Of course, this paragraph can be chosen from the two books, the student's book or the activity book, or adapted to one of the paragraphs found in the two books. So not necessarily to copy and paste a paragraph from the book word by word. So it depends on understanding and to know whether this student, we are here testing his ability of knowing functional words. What kind of functional words can the student be asked about?
Well,
Ms. Umayma.
sometimes, yes, thank you. Sometimes he's asked about prepositions or
Prepositions,
sometimes
conjunctions,
yes, relative
verbs.
clauses, the relative clauses, and there are idioms. We have phrasal verbs, we have idioms, color
auxiliary
idioms,
verbs,
auxiliary verbs,
articles,
articles,
yes.
all of
Pronouns.
these
relative pronouns. Thank you.
Yes, all pronouns,
So-
relative, personal, all
But
kinds
not
of
a
pronouns.
main
But not
verb, for example.
Here,
not a
here
word,
there
an
is
ordinary word.
there is
Not
a,
an
a
ordinary.
frequently asked question by students since our exams till now depend on how to study for the exam.
Exactly.
They see how can we study to fill in the missing words.
Yes.
No way except when you read during the year.
The more you
academic-
read,
the more you read,
experience you
the
will
more
get.
you find it. When you read a lot while you are studying from the beginning of the year until the exam,
Yes.
so the missing word pops up to your mind when you find it.
Exactly.
But to memorize is
It's not correct.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
a good
useless.
strategy because they have to memorize all the two books.
Yes.
It's not correct. But sometimes they have to know that sometimes there's some adaptation about these
and
paragraphs.
I want to add
So-
something. Usually students ask which book this question usually comes from.
Yes.
Not necessarily from any book, and as we said earlier or previously, it could be something parallel to these books but same vocabulary.
Okay.
So don't say this comes from the students, not from the activity, or from the activity, not from the students.
I have
We
a
need-
question really about this. Some students study or prepare them for this specific question from textbooks or notebooks. From notebooks.
Yeah. Ready-made, you mean? Ready-made, not the
ready-made,
student's
not
book.
from the
and-
text of the two
Yeah,
books.
this is a bad idea, actually.
Of course, this is not correct because maybe your teacher at school chose, let's say, some functional words, and in the exam, the words will be different from these
Yes,
words. So don't
yes.
memorize. This is what I mean.
And we don't,
memorization is not
we don't,
good.
we don't
You have to
recommend,
understand.
we don't recommend these
Yes.
ready-made notebooks.
Yes.
And most of the time, we find mistakes in these notebooks.
Yes.
So the students need to be careful to heed to the students and activity and supplementary books
Yes.
only, not to use something else. Sometimes these textbooks are not taught at all. They depend only a ready-made notebook by the teacher, and he gives his students. We are not with this idea. We have textbooks accredited by the Ministry of Education,
Exactly.
and this is what we're going to test you through.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Majid. I think it's a good note.
Yeah.
Good note.
Yes.
And an important note, by the way. Well, what about Ms. Umayma? Or Mr. Abdul Majid, you can both answer this question. The fourth one, which is, let's say, a paragraph.
Yes.
Some missing words, but we have
from
some words
from
in
the
the list.
supplementary book.
Yes.
This paragraph
Well-
can be chosen from the supplementary book, and they are given a list. What about it?
The fourth question, the student should fill in the spaces from a list. He should choose from
List
a list.
of words, yes.
List of words. The words, there are 5 words, and there are 4
For the scientific
spaces.
section,
For the scientific
5 words in the list
Yes.
and 4 spaces.
And 4
For the
spaces.
literary one, 6 words and 5
5
spaces. Yes.
Well, so he has to choose once, the word once. When the student write the correct word in each space, he should write it once. He shouldn't repeat writing the same word in the space. This is
Okay.
my first advice.
What if the student writes 2 answers for the same space?
We consider
If they are
The
only
first.
2, if they are only
Usually,
2,
usually
you
in the
mean
grading
each
scale,
space?
Each-
Ah,
usually we consider the first in the exam, but it's not a good
not
recommendation.
advised to
not
write 2
advised.
words. Write only 1 word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is for 2 words. If he writes 2 words in one space, but at the same time he shouldn't write the same word
Yeah.
twice.
Yes.
He should write the word once.
Yes.
Exactly. What if the student writes 1 word for all the spaces?
Cliché.
in all-
A cliché word.
Yes. So he can say it's okay. One of them
Will be right.
will be correct. In this case, I think he will get 0
Yes.
because he used
For
he used
everything.
the
Using
same
the
word for
cliché
all
sentence, the
spaces.
cliché word,
So
usually it is
don't
rated
use
as 0.
1 word for all the spaces. Don't write 2 answers in one space. Write only 1 answer or 1 word.
You mean don't be too smart. Too smart.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what about the conversation, Mr.
Yeah,
Akash?
we have a
fifth
dialogue.
question, the 5th question. The
We have a dialogue, question making, and the final is an answer. Here, this depends on his knowledge about grammar and changing a sentence into question, and to know exactly what the question is about. Sometimes a student changes, as you said, we have strong students, they think that they can do something, and they ask something not wanted in the dialogue. He's not going to take 0, of course, but some marks will be deducted. So he needs to read carefully the dialogue, the answer, and according to the answer he is going to choose. For example, I bought the guitar from the supermarket. Here we have 2 choices, but of course the main question should be, where did you buy the guitar from? Some student may write, what did you buy from the supermarket?
Or
It's
what did
okay.
you
This
do?
is not the dark-headed dialogue.
If
He
it
may-
is the first question in the dialogue, it's okay. If it is
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah.
But if it is not the first one, it's
No,
not
you'll be,
logical
strict
to ask
to-
about what you bought
Yes.
from the
Of course.
supermarket.
So we have, for the scientific section, 4 spaces. 3 are questions, and the final is answer. And when it is a question, he needs to write the correct question for the answer.
Yes.
The final one, which is an answer, here answers may vary. Every student can write a logical answer. It will be accepted.
Okay. Thank you.
Then,
Okay. What about the tense of the question? Is it necessary to use the same tense of the answer in the question?
yeah, of course, except if sometimes, the simple past and the present perfect, they can function the same way if we don't have a specific time reference. So if it is logical, it will be okay. But if the answer is in the past, of course, it's not okay to answer or to write the question from the present.
Yes.
So the student needs to read the answer carefully,
carefully.
then to choose the
The
corresponding.
answer will help him
Yes, the
to
answer
form the
usually
question.
helps him. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay.
I'd like to add something about this, that sometimes students may write only the question word. In this section, when they have to write the question or a
Yes.
complete sentence,
Complete.
sometimes they
Yes.
write the question word. You know that there are marks will be deducted,
Of course.
of course, and
He will lose marks.
he will lose marks.
Something very nice she aroused, Miss Umayma, for the students. If they don't know everything, they don't usually write, they leave it. Now we say don't leave any question, because whatever you write, you will
You will
take
get marks.
some points,
Some marks.
some marks.
Yes.
So even if it is only the question word, he will take some mark for it. Of course, not full mark, but when you are sure that this is the correct question word, write it. Even if you don't know the completion of the question, you will get some marks.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you
that's it.
for saying.
Okay. I'd like to go on now, Miss Umayma, please, for the sixth question, I think,
Yes.
in which here it's a grammatical,
Yes, we focus on grammar in the sixth step.
yes,
Yes.
skills.
Yeah, it is fatty, actually. This question is fatty.
Exactly.
It
So-
includes some
Yes.
information
For
from many parts.
a
Yeah.
lot of skills here.
Yes.
What kind of, let's say, tasks can the student be asked here
Yes.
about?
Big question.
Yes, big question and very, very nice question because
Yeah.
it's related to the grammar of the book.
Yes.
Yes.
The grammar. Well, the student should.
Of course, here he has to write, the sentences according to what is required between brackets.
Yes.
Yes.
So here,
That's it.
he has to look at what is written between the brackets. What is the task here, and he has to do the task.
That's
So what kind of tasks, of grammatical tasks?
it.
let's say
Different tasks, different grammatical tasks. He has to rewrite the following sentences as required in brackets, as you said, Mr. Bassett.
Okay.
He should read first each sentence carefully, then read what is required into brackets. We have a lot of grammar in the book itself. We have the wish, we have the causative, the reported speech, many things. So sometimes he's asked to write wish, for example, use
To
I
write
wish.
a wish sentence.
Use or report this. Report the reported speech, the reported questions, or use causative verbs. Use.
The causative verb have, yes.
The
yes.
causative verb.
Here,
have.
I think it's a good idea to explain every item
Yes.
separately because this exercise
Maybe
is
when
very
we finish
important.
giving some instructions, Mr. Abdul Majid, we can explain
Yeah, okay.
some grammatical, let's say, skills related to wish, for example, or the passive,
The passive,
or
the
the reported speech,
yes.
or
Causative.
even the causative
The
have.
The
yes.
causative is very
Yes.
important,
Yes.
especially students need to know already that here in this question, the rubric, it is use have.
Yes.
Because causative, as you know, we may
More
use
than
other.
six words,
Yeah.
six
Yes.
verbs.
So it's not okay to use, for example, get. Because in the
Or make,
rubric,
or let, or
we,
allow,
it
yes.
is said that it is mentioned
It
use
is
have. So
determined.
when it is use have, it means don't use get or allow or let or
Yes,
etc.
yes,
That's
yes.
it. So here they have four sentences and four grammatical things to do
Good.
for each sentence. To read the sentence carefully and read the information inside the brackets and follow the required in brackets according to the job they have to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use. They use.
Is it okay to start the sentence without rewriting the words between brackets? For example, when we ask the student to write, use I wish. Some students don't use I wish. They start writing the sentence and consider that it is written at the beginning.
They have to write.
No, we advise them to write
Yeah, to
it.
write,
Yes,
yes.
they
I
have
wish, use I wish.
They
Write
will-
it.
They will lose
Write
They
some
have to
words,
write
yeah.
it.
Complete question,
When
complete
my friend
answer.
asked me, you have to write. My friend asked me.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's it. This is what I mean.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much. Of course, here the form is very important when the student is asked to, for example, make passive voice. The form is very important. Any grammatical mistake, some marks will be
You
deducted.
reminded me with some students in the previous curriculum syllabus,
Yes.
the previous textbooks, there were questions telling the student to complete the missing word, but they were given the first letter. So students missed the first letter
Okay.
because it was already written in the exam
Yes.
paper.
Yes.
So they completed without the
We
first
advise
letter.
them not to
Yeah,
write
it was funny.
So
yeah.
no, we advise them
Yeah,
to write.
write,
it
yeah,
at
of
the
course.
beginning.
Yes.
Of course.
They must be. They must be written.
They
Complete,
must
yeah,
be
complete
written. They
answer.
must write a complete
Okay.
answer, the
Yes,
complete
yes,
word. They
yes.
shouldn't miss anything.
Thank you very much. What about the seventh question, Mr. Abdul Majid, the completion? What about it? Please.
Here, again, it is about grammar. It could be.
Can we use the overhead?
Yeah, this is for.
We didn't use the overhead.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we can use it. Okay.
It's for
Here,
2015.
Yes, it is the seventh question in
Yeah.
the second paper. Okay.
Here we see that it is conditional sentence. It's grammar again. The student needs to know well how to complete
Yes.
the if sentence, conditional sentence. Usually teachers teach their students how to complete this puzzle of grammar. And this is a conditional sentence
They
type
have
2.
to pay attention to the
Yes.
rubric itself.
Yeah.
Would you please read the rubric, Mr. Abdelmajid?
Complete the
It's very
following
necessary.
sentence using clauses.
What is the? This is what I mean.
Yes,
Some
yes.
students, Mr. Abdelmajid, don't know what a clause means.
Yeah, good, good.
Would you
This is-
please give
yeah,
us
yes, yes.
an idea about a clause?
Yeah, I'm going now to explain not only the clause. We have three types of writing sentences. We have a sentence, we have a clause, and we have an expression. The sentence actually has a subject and a verb, and it has full meaning.
Yes.
So when it has a full meaning, it is called a sentence, like I go to school. If it has a subject and a verb, but it doesn't give a full meaning, it is called here a clause. Like when I say I go, or if I have, it needs something added.
Another clause.
Yeah, to be
It needs another
full meaning.
Yes.
So when we have subject and verb with full meaning, and sometimes it's only subject and meaning, like subject and verb, like birds fly.
Yes.
Here it's only subject and a verb, but it gives full meaning, so it's called a sentence.
Mr. Abdelmajid, I think it is a good thing to tell the students that they will be given a compound sentence.
Yeah.
This compound sentence contains or consists of two clauses.
Two clauses,
You
yes.
are given the first clause and you have to write
Yeah.
another
So when
clause,
you
or the second
complete
one.
as a student, you need to write a subject
Yes.
and a verb
Yes.
in your clause.
Good. Not
so
one
that-
word.
Yeah, not one word, of course. Not one word is not enough. Even if this one word is only the subject or only the verb, it's not complete answer. He needs to write a subject and a verb to give a full meaning to the sentence.
Good.
Second, here we have Omar's letter was difficult to read because here. After because, we usually have a clause, and the clause needs to have a
And
subject.
they have to
and
pay
verb.
attention to the tense of the first clause.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes,
Because here the first clause, I think it is in the past, right?
yes.
So they have to complete by using any form of the past. It's okay, but there must be a harmony, I mean,
Yeah.
between the second clause and the first clause. The meaning must be correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We have grammar and meaning.
Yes.
The student should
And
take
spelling.
care of this.
Yes.
And spelling.
Yes.
The grammar and the meaning. When he completes the sentence with a clause, the clause should be meaningful, related to the first clause or the first part of the sentence
Yes.
itself, and grammar.
This question,
So-
Ms. Umayma, in fact, tests three skills at one time.
Yes.
Spelling,
Yes.
grammar, and meaning,
Meaning.
Yes.
vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yes, so it is a very important question, really. Thank you very much. What about the second one, Miss?
Here again, it is
Umayma,
grammar.
please?
Well, it's grammar again, okay? And if I read the rubric here, choose the correct words in brackets.
Good.
To choose, we have three sentences. Each sentence, in between brackets, we have two words.
Yes.
And the students should read the sentence carefully and slowly to decide and choose here between the meaningfully to choose.
And not
the
only
correct word.
choosing, he needs to correct, because B is not used actually in the same way written.
Yes.
He needs to change it correctly. So, sorry, I skipped.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here he has to choose
Yeah,
between two
yes.
words. One of them is meaning. Give
Yeah.
the sentence meaning. A meaning.
It depends on the meaning.
It depends
Here
on the
it
meaning
is.
itself.
This
I
question
was
is
looking at the
specified to
following
test
question.
vocabulary,
Yes.
right?
Here
Vocabulary.
it's vocabulary.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
What about the ninth question? I think
Well,
it is about tenses.
Yeah,
you
it's
said.
about tenses. Here, the student needs to correct
Yes.
the word between brackets
Yes.
so that the sentence is correct. So he changes the word For example, here, if I show it on the overhead,
Okay.
This is just an example. No, they're not to think that
Of course,
this is
these
the
are
question.
models, examples.
Models,
no
yes.
Yeah,
more.
the
Yes.
original Mont Blanc tunnel, here we have B, completed in 1965. Of course, this is passive voice.
Specific time here.
And we have a specific time in the past, so this is passive voice in the simple past. What do we use when we are making the passive voice in the past? Be goes to be, was, or were. And since tunnel is singular, so it should be was. Was completed. Second, we have Sami, right? And he say all morning. We have the word all morning, which means it took a period of time. It's not just finished action.
Yes, yes.
It's something took a period of time. That's why he is very tired now. And here we have a result in the present, which shows that something was in progress in the past.
Which needed a length of time.
Yes, it is the
Yes.
present perfect continuous, and this is going to be Sami has been writing, and he say
Good.
all morning. Then we come, my uncle finally passed his driving test. He take the test 3 times already. 3 times something repeated.
Before now.
Before now.
Before the first action, not
Yes.
before now.
So
Yes.
we say he had taken the test 3 times because past is in the simple past. We go a step
Past
backward, past perfect. He had taken the test 3 times already.
Good. Thank you. What about translation, Ms. Umayma?
Well, in translation, the student should translate the following sentence into Arabic. He
Yes.
has 2 sentences. The first one should be translated from English into Arabic, and the second sentence from Arabic into English.
Good.
Well, each sentence is allotted, the first one from English to Arabic, 10 marks.
Good.
I advise students to divide the sentence into 2 parts or 3 parts, because they will be given the marks according to this or to this definition division.
So
Well,
you mean if he doesn't know the meaning of a word,
Yes.
to leave it as a space and to write what he knows, and he will get marks. Of
Yes.
course, he will lose the
Should
missing
try,
word.
of course,
Yeah.
yes.
yes, he will lose some marks, but in order to write right,
What
don't
can
leave
we
spaces.
advise the student when translating, a sentence from English into Arabic? It's okay. It is his language, and he will be able to use his own language to form, let's say, a correct grammatical structure because he uses Arabic. What about the English one? It's very important to remind the students that when we ask the student to translate from Arabic into English, it's not necessary to translate word by word,
Yes.
as some teachers tell you. Sorry for
It will be
telling this.
nonsense.
But it is not a good strategy. Why? Because each language has its own way, let's say, of expressing ideas, and its own words, its own vocabulary, and its own grammar. So in Arabic we say, for example, we start with a verb.
Yes.
يأكل الولد التفاحة. Sorry, it's an Arabic sentence.
Yeah, because
but in English we
still the
have to
subject.
start with the subject, the doer.
Yes.
But some students say, ate the boy the apple. Believe me.
Yeah.
So it's not correct. They have to start with the subject, then the verb, then the object, and so on.
And the tense as well.
Exactly.
The
They have to
students
pay
need
attention,
to pay attention to
the tense of the sentence. Exactly. Zurna, so they have to use the past,
Yeah, of course.
right? Etc.
Yes.
So they should pay attention to grammar. They should pay attention to the words. Of course, sometimes the student can use more than one word for the equivalent.
Yes.
Yes, he has options.
Synonyms.
He has,
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So, and it is correct. Don't worry. It's not necessary, let's say, to give the word which is found in your book. When
Yes.
you give a correct meaning, it's okay.
any logical
That's it.
sentence is accepted,
Yes.
even it is from outside the book.
Okay.
If it gives the meaning, it's okay.
Okay, before we have a break, let us finish about translation. What we want from the student is to look at the sentence in Arabic. It's okay. This is how we say it in Arabic. You have to tell us how we say it in English,
Yes.
not to translate word by word. This is the good translation. So look at the information, try to know how they say this sentence in English, how it is said, but not to translate word by word. It is not a good strategy. It's
Yeah,
not
the
correct.
structure must be correct.
Yes, the structure must be correct. Thank you, Mr. Majid. Before we have a break, let us finish our talk, our discussion about the exam or the form of the exam, to talk about the composition itself.
Yes.
Yes.
Here, the student in the baccalaureate, dear colleagues, is given one composition, and we ask him to write no more than
80 words.
80 words. So please, dear students, don't write more than 80 words. 80 words will be enough.
Yeah. And to remind them with something, some students think that they need to count every word. Yeah, it is needed to count, but we can comfort them by telling them that the indefinite article is considered a word, the is considered a word, and is a word.
Preposition is a
So
word.
if they count them until they are 70 to 80, is accepted.
I think no more than 8 lines. 8 lines,
It-
10 lines.
and-
It depends
yeah.
on the size
Yes,
of his
yes.
handwriting.
In the end, if they add more than 80, it's not very big problem, except if they have grammar or spelling mistakes, they will be judged according to them.
Of course.
But it will be a problem if they write less than 70. Less than 70, they will
Some
lose
marks
some
will be
marks.
deducted.
Yes. Less than 60, more marks will be deducted.
And
So
so
the
on.
student need to hit to the number 70 to 80 is okay.
I think between 75 and 80 will be very good.
And
Yes,
another
yes.
thing, usually most of the students try to memorize so that, and they ask about expectations. What do you think is going to come? And some teachers, unfortunately, give expectations, and these students learn by heart
Yes.
these memorized.
So we
Paragraph?
advise
Leave the
them
other
not to learn by heart,
Yeah.
not to listen to some rumors.
They need to write sentences, but this is not now. This should have been done through the academic year
Yes.
to learn how to write sentences and then to be as simple as they can.
And there is something else, dear colleagues. As I told you, some students study or learn by heart from some notebooks, not from the book itself. So, and these notebooks, let's say, have cancelled, let's say that, some compositions found in the two books. I mean the student's book or the activity book. I advise them to go back to each book, the student's book and the activity book, and to focus on the writing in each unit, on the compositions in each unit, and to know what topics should they, let's say, be trained very well to write about.
And more
So
than
this is my
that,
advice.
sometimes they memorize a paragraph, but in the exam, same paragraph may come, but with more than one element.
Yes.
So the student needs to cover the elements in the composition. If he memorized just half of the paragraph needed, so he will lose half of the mark.
So grammar is necessary when writing a composition. Spelling is necessary. Capitalization is necessary. The sequence or the logical sequence of the
Yes, of
ideas
course.
is very, very important.
Communication.
When you start your or writing your composition, you have to introduce the topic. I mean, there must be a key sentence at the beginning to tell the reader what you are writing about.
Yes.
Right? And when you want to finish your composition, you can conclude something, or you can give your opinion, for example, about so and so, about any topic, and finish your composition. In this way, we write a composition. Thank you, dear colleagues. Now, dear students, it's time for a break for some seconds. Then we can go back. I'd like to remind you that we will receive your calls after the break to answer any question about the exam. Let's have a break and then we can go back. Thank you. Welcome back, dear students, in our seminar for today, in which we are talking about the English exam for the baccalaureate for both sections, the scientific and the literary one. Well, before the break, we were talking about some instructions about the English test. Now we can, I'd like to remind you that we can receive your calls. We are ready to answer your questions about the English exam. I think we have a call. Sami from Homs. Good afternoon, Sami.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. I'm sure that you have been working hard recently and you are preparing now very well for the exam, aren't you?
Yes, thank
Well,
you.
Sami, are you in the scientific section or in the literary one?
Scientific.
Good. So, what's your question? Do you have a question about
I have
the
two
English?
questions.
Okay.
For the passive,
Sami,
For the passive.
are you a student or a teacher?
sorry, I'm a student in the scientific.
A student, because I feel from your voice that you are a teacher. Not it's okay. Welcome anyway. What's your question?
For passive,
Passive. What about it?
passive
Should. What about should?
should we use the by?
You mean, is it necessary to mention the
Why or
agent,
not, yeah.
Sami,
Subject.
the agent in the passive? Well, let me give you an example, and you will answer me directly, without writing anything. If I say, Umayma invented, let's say, the radio, okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sami?
Yeah.
Okay, if I say, Umayma invented the radio, okay? Would you please make it passive? Can you make it passive?
The radio
Mr.
was
Majid, would you please write the
Yes, okay.
sentence? Use the overhead, please. This is my pen, it's okay.
It's okay.
Sami, watch us, please. Okay, Mr. Abdul Majid will write the sentence. Can you see it? Please, the overhead. Sami?
Yes.
Okay, look at the sentence, please. Sami invented, or Umayma, Sami, okay, invented the radio. Would you please make it passive?
The radio, please.
Sami, can you hear us? Okay. Sami, would you please go on with us, watch us on the TV. Now here, of course, Mr. Abdul Majid, we say the radio was invented. Mr. Abdul Majid, would you please stop?
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The radio was invented. If we put a full stop here, and we don't mention the agent, we say the radio was invented. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the information complete here?
No, it's not complete. Can I answer this
Yes,
question?
why not?
Actually, we have some ways that we don't write the agent.
Exactly.
First, when the agent is indefinite. First, obviously the second.
Yes,
So
yes,
you know
okay.
them actually, but I reordered them.
Okay.
If the agent is very clear,
Yes.
no need, because when you say the earth was created thousands of years ago,
Yes.
here the creator is God, so no need to write
no need.
by God, because it's very clear, very obvious.
Another example, when we say people speak English all over the world, English is spoken all over the world. There is no
So
need to
no
say
need
by
because
people. This is what you
people,
mean.
yes.
Yes.
And second, when we don't know the agent, for example, the lost boy was found. We don't know who found, but the important thing here is that we found the lost boy, so no need. We only mention the agent preceded by when something or someone who did, when the agent is known. For example, proper noun. For example, as you said, the radio was invented by macaroni, for example. Here we need to know, it's not Umayma actually, it was macaroni who invented
This
the
is
radio.
another radio, Mr.
Yeah.
Abdullah.
So when the active sentence starts with he, for example, no need to write by he or by him.
Okay.
But when it is someone definite, someone known, we mention it by.
Thank you. Well, simply speaking, we can say if the student feels that the information is not complete, he has to mention the doer. He has to say by so and so. By Selma, by Umayma, by Macaroni, by anyone.
It is from their book, actually.
I know. But if he feels that there is no need to mention the doer because it is something obvious, clear, so don't mention it.
Yeah.
But sometimes mentioning it is necessary to complete the information, and in this case, if the student doesn't mention the agent, some marks will be deducted.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to add something because the student is asking now. Don't be confused. If you find yourself confused, I advise the student himself. If you find yourself confused, mention the doer by
It's
him,
okay.
by her.
If it
Yeah,
is
it's
found,
not
mention
wrong,
it.
yeah. It's
Say
okay,
by
mention
so
it.
and so.
So mentioning it is better than
Better
leaving
than-
it when necessary.
Yes. This is
But
our
it's
advice.
no problem. When the agent
yes.
is he or she or
Okay.
someone, no need.
Now, before the break, we were talking about some grammatical skills. We talk about the reported speech.
Yes, the with.
So let's start explaining something about the reported speech, dear colleagues,
Yeah, okay.
to remind the students, just as a revision,
Yes.
how to report. You know, when we report, we can report a sentence and we can report a question. And when we talk about questions, we say that we have two types of questions, the WH
WH.
questions and the yes, no
Yes, no
questions.
question, yeah.
So we have Siba from Tartus, another call from Tartus. So Siba, hello, good afternoon. Siba? Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, Siba. How are
Yes.
you?
I want to ask Miss Umayma.
Okay, why not?
Good afternoon.
Miss
afternoon.
Umayma is with you.
Good afternoon. Yes, please.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
Manisa.
What's your question, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, Siba?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yes, your question. I'm waiting for your question.
Your question, Siba. Siba.
The sentences in the translation question, can it be from scientific section or
Which one?
another one?
You are asking about the translating from English
Is
to
it
Arabic.
going to be from the
Uh-huh.
supplementary
From
or
English
from the...
into Arabic, you mean, Siba? The first one,
Yes.
the English one.
Yeah.
Okay, the English one will be from the supplementary book. Okay?
Yeah, anyone.
Any sentence
I
could
think
be.
she waits to hear from the phone. This is why she takes time.
You take
so
time.
it's a good idea to
So can you hear me
turn
now,
down
Siba?
the television and listen from the phone.
Yes. Siba? Siba?
Yes, would you please turn down the television? Listen from the
Turn
phone.
down.
Listen. Yes.
Yeah.
The volume.
Yes.
Can you hear?
Yes,
Can you
I'm here.
Okay, the first sentence, which is in English, and we ask you to translate it into
I can't
Arabic,
hear you.
will be from the supplementary book. Okay?
Is it clear? Is it clear?
But from Arabic
Sorry, I
into
cannot hear you.
English,
From English to Arabic, it's from the
She's asking about
supplementary,
the
yes.
first one, by the way.
From English to Arabic,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be from the
English to Arabic, it's
supplementary,
from
yes.
yes.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thanks.
We are
Good luck.
welcome.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Goodbye. So let's go back to our speech about the reported speech. To our speech about the reported speech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
we can use the laptop, by the way. Thank you.
when we
The laptop
report,
is ready. Okay.
when we report, usually we use the verbs either said or told. Difference between them, that said doesn't need an object, but told needs an object. And we usually change the tense of the sentence if it is present. When we start saying he said or they said, etc., we change the verb into the past and we change everything relevant to.
So let's talk in
Yeah.
details, Mr. Abdul Majid, please.
So, for example, Salma says, Ali, I'm sorry about what happened. So the original sentence is, Ali, I'm sorry about what happened. Salma told Ali that she said I am, but when we report about Salma, we need to change I am to she.
Past.
And it is going to be in the past, so she was sorry about what happened. She was sorry about what happened, or what had happened, because we go one tense back, so the simple past becomes past perfect and the present becomes simple past.
Good.
Salma said, we can say, without told Ali, Salma said that she was sorry about what had happened. Here we deleted the object because we used said.
Good.
So the simple present goes to be simple past. Alice, for example, I work in an office. Alice said she worked in an office.
Good.
The simple past becomes past perfect when Alice says I worked in the garden. We say Alice said she had worked in the garden.
Good.
The present continuous becomes past continuous. The past continuous becomes past perfect continuous, and so on. Now, the subject I goes to be he or she according to what we're going to report about. We changes to be they. For example, I am watching a movie. She said she was watching a movie.
Good.
We visit the museum every summer. They said they visited the museum every summer.
Good.
Now the object me becomes him or her. Sally gives me some money every morning. She said Sally gave her. Because me here changes to
Yes,
Sally, so
yes.
it should be her.
Sally said.
Yeah, Sally said, she said,
She said.
Another
Sally,
She
one.
said, sorry.
Yes.
Sally
He's
gave
talking
her
about Sally.
some
Yes,
money
she said,
every
yes.
morning. Us, when it's object us, it changes to them. Sally and John give us some chocolate. They said Sally and John give them some chocolate.
Good.
So we clarify more. We say everything near goes to be far. For example, here becomes there.
Yes.
Now becomes then. Tomorrow,
Yes.
then following day.
following
Yesterday, the day before.
What about the possessive adjectives?
Possessive
They are the
adjectives, my becomes her if it is a female person, or his if it is male. My mother, for example, this example, my mother cooks very well. She said her, because she takes her, not mine. Her mother cooked in the past very well. Our becomes their. Our parents are taking us to the park. They said their parents were taking them to the park.
Good.
Time and place references. I will meet you here tomorrow, we said. It will be the following day. Tomorrow becomes the following day. And reporting.
And here becomes there, as
Yeah.
you said. Yes.
Here becomes there, and now becomes then. So everything near becomes. If I say read this book, he
That
said
book.
that book. Yeah,
Yes.
this becomes that. Everything near becomes. We come here to questions, reporting questions. As you said, we have two kinds of questions.
Okay.
WH questions and yes/no questions. How can a student distinguishes? How can he distinguish between is it WH question or yes/no question from the answer? If in the answer we have yes or no, so it is yes, no question. If we don't have yes, no in the answer, it's WH question. For WH question, we delete or we drop do, does, and did. And if it is another auxiliary verb, it becomes...
Let's read the examples, Mr.
It
Majid.
goes after the subject as in the sentence. Reporting WH, for example, why are you laughing? We say he asked without me or with me. This is optional. He asked me or he asked. Why you are becomes I. You becomes I.
But if it is mentioned in the exam, they must write it.
Yeah,
I
of
mean
course.
me,
Yeah.
for example, the object pronoun.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So he asked me why I was. We go back 1/10 back, so the present becomes past, and it's going to be why I was laughing. What are you going to do after school? She wanted to know what I was going to do after school. Reporting yes, no questions. Here in this case, we use if or whether. For example, we use he wanted to know or they asked me. For example, we have here a question, did you enjoy the class? She asked me if or whether I had enjoyed, because did you is the simple past, so we go 1/10 back,
Yes.
becomes past perfect. She asked me if I had enjoyed the class. Or she wanted to know if whether I had enjoyed the class, if I had enjoyed the
Because here
class.
they can use if
Or whether.
or whether.
If
but
or
not
whether,
both.
and they can say she asked me or she wanted to know, she inquired if. So we can use any introductory beginning, but it gives the meaning.
So as you said, when you talked about the reported, they can follow us on the laptop, please. Thank you. As you said, Mr. Majid, I visit my friend on the weekend. Present simple. We go back
1/10
1/10.
back.
So
He said he visited his friend on the weekend. I visit my friend. He said he visited
Exactly.
his friend on the weekend. Here, on the weekend, this is American. Actually, in our books, the
Yes.
curriculum is British. So we use at the weekend, not on, but it's not wrong. It's not just clarifying.
Good.
On the weekend is American, at the weekend is British. So the present simple becomes past simple.
good.
I am writing a letter to my friend becomes she said she was writing a letter to my becomes her to her friend. So the present continuous has become past continuous. I visited my friend last weekend. This is simple past. We go 1/10 back to the past perfect. He said he had visited his friend last weekend.
Good.
So we change the possessive pronoun and the possessive adjective. We change the pronoun
Good.
from I to she or he. I will, this is future. I will visit my friend. Decision made at the moment of speaking. I will visit my friend. This is future. It becomes she said she would visit. This is the past future.
Yes.
She would visit her friend. Do the required between brackets.
The possessive.
The passive
Okay.
voice.
You
No,
mean
no,
you
because-
mean it's okay. Here we have an exercise. It's just the same as it is in the exam.
Yes.
Right, Ms.
Yes.
Umayma?
I am
Do as
going
required
out.
between the brackets. Here, what is required is written between the
Yes.
Yes.
report using she said. So
In
the
this
student
case-
here has to use she said.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly. So,
So-
when it is given in the exam, the student
Yes.
must use what is given
Written
in the
between the
exam.
brackets.
Yes.
But there is something else. She said. Here the introducing verb or the reporting verb is said, and it is, as you said, in
No
the
need.
simple past.
Yes.
So they have to pay attention to the tense of the reported sentence.
Yes.
Good. So they have to use the past, as you said.
So I am going out with my parents. She said she was going out with her parents. Where are you going? This is a question using WH word. Report using he asked her. So now we need to be careful what we need to change. So he asked her. He asked her where she, because in the question it's where are you?
Yes.
And we don't know if it is a man or a woman who is asking, but we are given in the brackets report using he asked her. So we say he asked her where she was going.
Good.
Now, did you enjoy your holiday? It is simple past. Report using he asked them. So here we are going to use the plural pronoun them. He asked them if whether, because here it is yes no question. He asked them if whether they had enjoyed their holiday, because it is simple past, it went back one tense. So he asked them if whether they had enjoyed their holiday.
Thank you very much. Okay. Miss Umayma now.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Majid. I
Thank
think
you.
everything is clear now about the reported speech. What about how to write a wish sentence, Miss Umayma?
Yes.
First, we know that in our real life, we wish because sometimes we don't like something in the reality in our life and we want to change it for something better. Sometimes we don't like someone's behavior and we criticize this behavior. We want him to change his behavior or her behavior. This is why we wish.
Yes.
Okay?
So
Yes.
wish is always opposite reality.
Exactly.
Something not real.
Not
Yes,
real.
we are
It's
imagining.
unreal.
This is
Something
why we
not
use
true about the present.
Yes.
use unreal
present.
Yes,
past.
exactly.
Yes.
So, what can you tell us?
Well,
please?
to write the wish sentence, we need the wish. First of all, I said that we use wish and would.
Good.
We always say that wish, the sentence after wish, something that we imagine. It's unreal. If I said he is good at math, he is not good for, sorry, he is not good at math, for example, I wish he was or he were good. Okay? Or I may change not only the verb but also the the adjective in the sentence. If it's hot, if it's cold, I make it hot. This is according to the sentence.
So
You
we
can
have
change
two
something.
ways.
We have
Either
two ways.
to use the negative form or something contrary to what
Sometimes.
is
Or
in the
sometimes.
reality.
Sometimes.
So the student here can use his own words
Yeah.
to express
The wish.
the opposite situation
Yes.
he wishes for, but of course he has to follow the correct grammatical rule, which is to use, as you said, the unreal past after wish. This is
Yes.
very important.
That's
Okay,
it.
let's
To
talk
follow,
in details.
yes, to talk in details, we use I wish plus would to express a wish for a change in how someone behaves, or to express criticism or annoyance about certain behavior.
Good.
For example, you are not polite to my friends. I wish you would be more polite to my friends.
This is one way.
This is one way. Or, I wish you wouldn't argue all the time. This is another way.
Good.
It's according to the student himself when he give us the wish, the correct logical sentence describing wish. Now we use
Can
wish.
the student here say, you are not polite, I wish you were?
I wish you were polite.
It's correct.
It's correct.
It's
Why
correct.
not?
If the student says, I wish you were,
Yeah,
full
it's
stop,
correct. It's correct.
he will get
It's
the full mark.
correct,
believe
and
me.
he will get the full mark
Yes.
because he give us the logical
Yes.
meaning. Yes,
Yes.
the meaning of the
Yes.
sentence, logical answer.
The meaning is clear.
The meaning is clear.
Okay.
Well, we use
But
wish.
in other cases, it's not okay. For example, he is a teacher. I wish he were. And if you stop here, it's not logical.
It's
Not
not.
logical.
So you need to give.
course.
But in your sentence, yeah, it is okay.
I'm
Yes.
talking about this sentence,
Yeah,
of
good.
course.
Good.
Not, not every
I wanted to
sentence.
clarify so students may take for granted what you said
Yes,
and
yes,
they
yes,
just say
yes.
the presenter
Well,
said
yes.
it's okay. So
Yes.
I needed to clarify.
Yes,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
Well, we use wish plus would to express a wish for someone to do something or for something to happen. For example, your room is not tidy. I wish you would tidy up this mess.
Here we have kind of criticism.
Kind of criticism.
Your room is not tidy. Can I say, I wish it was?
No.
I can't say that. I wish it was. I wish it was tidy, or it were tidy. I can say that.
Yeah, it's okay.
It
It will be
was.
accepted
Or
in the
it
exam.
were, yes, it means
or
it was tidy,
Believe
because
me,
it wasn't,
we can say
it
that.
isn't
Your room is
tidy.
not tidy. I wish it was, or it were tidy. Tidy here is optional. You can, here in this
Okay,
case,
as you like. I just don't
Yes,
want
in the
to
case of
distract
wish.
the attention of the students.
no, okay, it's correct, Mr.
Not all
Abdul Majid.
students are strong enough
Yes.
to get the point.
Some
Yes.
students,
We are
believe
talking
me,
to everybody.
Use
Yeah.
this strategy. Yes, it's correct.
Yes.
Okay, what else, Ms. Umayma?
We use wish with the past tense verb to express a wish for present situation to be different, regrets on impossible conditions. For example, this room isn't very big. I wish it was a bit bigger. Or I don't live in the city. I wish I lived in a big city. I am 50 years old. I wish I were 10 years younger.
Good.
Okay? We have another usage for wish. We use wish plus could to express
Yes.
regret about inability to change situations you don't
Yes.
like. Inability.
Yes.
For example, I can't go to your party. I wish I could go to your party.
And here, if the student, Ms. Umayma, stops after could, I wish I could,
It's
he
acceptable.
will get
He will
full
get
mark,
the full
because
mark.
it depends on
Yeah.
the first.
Yes,
See, what
and-
I can understand that to express regret, we use could. To express criticism, we use would.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Well, another example, I read very slowly. I wish I could read more slowly.
Good. What about the past perfect now? I
What-
think here, if
Wish with the past perfect to
yes.
talk about past situations that you wish had happened, had been different. Example, I didn't bring a map. I wish I had brought a map.
Again, we went one tense back.
Yes.
The simple past went to be past perfect.
Past perfect, yes.
Here we are talking in general about wish, but for the baccalaureate, I think they are asked to write a wish sentence about present situations, not
So
about
it's
past
going to
situations.
be simple past.
So don't
They
worry
are-
about
don't
this.
worry.
It's extra information.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
About wish. That's everything. About
And
it.
they already know that the simple past will be changed into past
Thank you.
perfect because they have a step forward.
And
to
the way
back.
the way this question comes in exam,
Yes.
it is written use wish.
Use wish. Use
Okay.
wish. And they have to say, I wish, or he wishes, or that's it. I
Okay.
can't sleep at night. We have, this here we have some examples as it's written, or as they are written in the text itself,
Okay.
or for in the exam.
Yes.
To do the required, we have.
Okay. I have prepared, in fact, another file about the passive, Miss Umayma.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The passive. Yes.
Yes.
We can use the
Another-
laptop again. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Majid.
Okay.
Can we start talking about the passive voice? I think we have received a call from Sami. I
Sami.
From
think.
Homs, yes.
He asked us about
the passive.
the agent, or is it necessary to use the agent in the passive, right?
Yes.
So let's talk in general about
general,
the passive.
generally
After we
speaking.
finish, Ms. Umayma can talk about the conditionals if we can, or
Okay.
the causative verb have,
Yes.
if we have time. So
we have time.
we have only 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
We can cover these 2 points because
Actually.
they are important.
First, I would like to mention that we use the passive either because the agent is not known or not important, or to focus on the object itself.
Yes.
Because the important thing in the sentence is the object, so we start with the object. How do we change? The main thing is that we put the object at the beginning of the sentence.
So use the object as a subject.
Yes, we make the object as the subject of the sentence, and we use the same verb in the sentence in the verb 3, in the past participle, and between them, here is what we need to know what to do. For the simple present, we use am, is, are.
Mr. Abdul Majid, in order to, let's say, simplify
Yeah.
the rule, you know, we have many active tenses, Ms. Umayma, and we know all that teachers at school have taught their students a rule for each tense. Let me give one rule for the passive.
Yes.
Just one rule, not 10 rules. This is what I mean. I agree with you. In the present simple, they have to use am, is, are. But if we tell the students that they have to use, you have mentioned the first step, to use the object as a subject.
And verb to
Use verb to be, the second step, in the same tense as the active verb.
Yeah, it's
Simply
okay.
speaking. Then
Here you
use the-
summarize.
Exactly. Use the past participle, step number 3, of the active verb. This is step number 3. If it is necessary to mention the doer in the passive, it becomes an agent, but it is often, as you said, not mentioned. It is often not mentioned, but it is only mentioned when it is important to complete the information. This is everything about the passive. Now, in a hurry, let's try to talk in details. Just try to step by step, to read more than one tense to make the
Yeah,
students know the rule. That's it.
So a simple present as a beginning. John washes the car every morning.
Good.
The car is washed. We used is here. If John used to wash cars,
can go
we
back
would
to that.
say cars are washed. So the verb to be is used according to the object which has become the subject.
Good.
In the simple past, John washed the car yesterday.
Good.
The car here
washed.
was washed. If it was cars,
Where?
say cars were
Very
washed.
nice.
The present continuous, we use being. The present and the past continuous, we use being. John is washing the car, or John was washing the car. We say the car is being washed or was being washed.
Good.
For the perfect tenses, present perfect or past perfect, we use been. For example, the strong wind has destroyed many houses.
So here,
or
this is what I mean, Mr. Majid, sorry. Has destroyed, present perfect.
Yes.
So he has to use verb to be in the present perfect.
Yeah.
Simply speaking.
been.
So, many houses, because it is plural, he has to use have, not has.
Have, yes. But in the simple past, since it's had, it's the same.
Good.
So we use have or has, been, verb 3.
Yes.
And when we have modal auxiliaries, we use them, we use be after modal auxiliaries.
Infinitive.
And in the future, when we use the future, again, we use the infinitive of, since we use infinitive after auxiliary verbs, we use be. The strong wind can destroy many houses. Many houses can be destroyed. If it was could be destroyed. Must be. We must move people from their homes before building the dam. People must be moved. So we use be after auxiliary verbs. All auxiliary verbs take infinitive form,
Good.
so it is be.
That's it.
Now the question in the exam can come, choose the correct form. If you get hungry, you can buy or can be.
This is not, of course, the way
Really, it's okay.
of the baccalaureate.
Okay.
I mean, it's okay, but just to train them.
Yeah.
It's just a training exercise, but in the exam they are asked to correct
Yes.
or to not to correct or to rewrite the sentence.
Yeah.
Right? In the passive.
So they need use the passive. They have a sentence, and there is between brackets the instruction. Use the passive. In this case,
Or
they
make
look at the
passive.
tense.
Yes.
They look at the sentence. If it is present, they follow what we said.
Good.
If it's past, they follow what we said,
Good.
etc.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Umayma,
Yes.
what about the conditionals?
Yes.
Okay.
The conditional sentences, we have...
The causative or the conditional? Sorry.
well, the same. Well, we have the causative, according to the third secondary, some students may
It's okay.
get confused.
Let's try to explain by using the overhead,
Okay.
please, because the
Yes.
file is not ready.
Well, we have different structures. I hope, Mr. Majid, you write them, the different
You can write,
structures, in
yes.
order
You
to,
can use them.
You can show them.
Thank
here.
you.
or to show them,
Okay,
yes.
we can use the overhead now.
Well,
Thank you.
here in these structures, for example, my father painted the house himself. My father is the
This
doer
is
of the action.
active.
Well, this is active. Then we have the house was painted by my father. Here we have passive.
Passive.
And the doer My father, the agent.
Yes.
Okay. My father had the house painted. This is causative.
This is causative.
You mean
Yes.
we can write the sentence in English by using three different structures?
Yes.
Active, passive, causative.
And causative.
Okay, why do we use the causative form?
Well,
It's an important question.
To show that the person didn't do the thing
Action
or the
himself.
action himself, somebody did it for him.
Yes.
Here we use a causative verb, as we said
What is
earlier.
the structure, Miss Umayma? Thank you.
well, the structure here we have the subject plus have
We can
with
use
the
it,
object and
please.
past participle. Yes,
Can
here
use the
please.
form. Yes. Thank you. This is the form.
This is the
of
form
of the causative.
Of the causative, the subject have plus
Object.
the object and the past participle.
Participle. So here is the contraction: subject, have, object.
Mr.
Perfect.
Miss Umayma, Mr.
Yes.
Abdul Majid, the verb to have here is necessary, of course.
It's
In
necessary.
the
of course.
baccalaureate, because they said
yes.
the rubric says use the verb have.
So
Yes.
no other verb.
Yes.
No other verb.
Good. This is one thing.
Yes.
Another thing, they have to use the verb have in the same tense as the tense of the sentence
Yes,
itself.
of
Yes.
course.
The
If
same
it is in the
tense.
past,
It should
they
be
have
had.
Should
to
be
use
had.
the past
Yes.
of have, which is had.
Had.
If it is in the future, they have to use it in the future. Right?
have
if it
itself.
is in the present simple,
Yes.
present simple, has, for example, or have.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what if the sentence is positive? I mean, when it is negative, for example, I didn't repair the machine myself, so it is a negative sentence. It means that someone else
Yes.
repaired the machine
Yes.
for me. So when I use the causative, I have to say, I had it
Repaired.
Repaired.
It means someone else repaired it for
Yes.
me. But what if I say, I repaired the machine myself? It means that
This
nobody
Nobody
else
This
has
is not
me.
causative.
So when we ask them, the student, to write a causative form, he has to write it in the negative
The
form.
negative for have.
So-
I don't have it repaired, for example.
Or if it is in the past, we say didn't,
He didn't. Yes.
right?
Yes.
But not hadn't, of course.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, dear students, dear colleagues, English teachers, thank you for watching us for this seminar. We hope that we have given something beneficial for you to prepare well for the exam. We hope that you get the high marks at the end. Let me thank my colleagues who participated me in this seminar. Miss Umayma Sharban, English supervisor from Tartus, thank you very much for
Thank
your
you very much.
participation.
Thank you.
Mr. Abdul Majid Overly, thank you very much
Thank you.
for
Thank
your
you very much.
participation. Thank you, dear students. We wish you all the best. Goodbye. See you next year at university. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.